Hello everyone, wishing you all a peaceful and graceful morning. So hope all of you are doing great at home. We are in chapter 4, Animal Kingdom. So we have seen the introductory part in the previous sessions. We have learned how to classify the organisms. What are the basis of the classification of the organisms? We have learned. So what are the bases? Just we will recall the important points that which we have learned. The important points that which we have learned was the level of organization, the cellular level of organization. As I have told you, when we move from the lower phylum to the higher phylum, we can see a gradation. Okay, so from the cellular level of organization to the organ system of level of organization, we can see there. So we move, as we move towards the phylum only, we will be able to understand it more clearly. Then the next classification is that we have learned about the segmentation, whether the body is segmented. Okay, then we have learned was symmetry, body symmetry mainly. What is symmetry? Bilateral symmetry as well as the radial symmetry. Two types of symmetries we have learned. If the body is divided in single plane into two equal halves, then it is termed as bilateral symmetry. And radial symmetry we have learned, if the body is divided in any of the angle to the central plane, then it is, if it is divided into two equal halves, that is radial symmetry. We have learned the best example for that is starfish. We have learned for the radial symmetry. Bilateral symmetry with human beings, we can give the best example. And the next important thing that which we have learned on the basis, regarding the basis of classification, was whether body cavity, regarding the body cavity, whether it is coelomate, pseudocoelomate or acoelomate. Coelomate means if the body cavity is there, then it is coelomate. If they are showing the false cavity, then that is pseudocoelomate. Acoelomate means there is no body cavity. Body cavity is completely absent. Okay. Then what we have learned on the basis of notochord, basis of segmentation, all these are the basis of the classification we have learned. So then afterwards we have learned regarding the phylum. Phylum Porifera, the special features of phylum Porifera we have learned. And the examples of Porifera also we have learned. Then Coelenterata, the next phylum we have learned. The examples of Coelenterata we have come across. Then Ctenophora, the examples of Ctenophora we have come across. Then the next thing that which we have learned was Platyhelminthes, its features and its examples we have learned. Then Ashkelminthes or Eschelminthes we have learned, its characteristic features and examples. So today we will learn about phylum Annelida. So phylum Annelida, the characteristic features of phylum Annelida we are going to learn. So what are the characteristic features of phylum Annelida? So mostly they are marine and aquatic, freshwater. So in the case of Porifera we have learned they are aquatic, isn't it? They are exclusively marine. We have learned in the case of Porifera, in the case of Ctenophora, in the case of Coelenterata we have learned that they are exclusively marine. In the case of Platyhelminthes and Ashkelminthes, there we have learned they are freshwater too. They are aquatic, freshwater, free-living, parasitic. In the same way, they too are parasitic, free-living and terrestrial. And what type of organ system, level of organization? Okay, organ system. That means organ system is completely formed. Then the next one important is symmetry. So it is bilaterally symmetry. These organisms are bilaterally symmetry. Then the other thing that which we have to learn is that the layers. Okay. I have told you during the basis of classification, if it is of 2 layers, then we can put them in the category of diploblastic. If it is of 3 layers, then we can put them in the category of triploblastic. So here they are triploblastic. That means 3 layers are being formed here. Then the body is segmented of phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida, the body is segmented. That means a metamerism, a formation. If the segment is being formed, and that phenomenon is termed as metamerism. Okay. Then we have learned about coelomate. If the body cavity is present, then we can say it as coelomate. So here I will draw you and show you how the segments are formed over the body of this particular organism. So here, in this way, the segments are being formed. So this is termed as metamerism. So this particular phenomenon is termed as metamerism. Then the main thing that I forgot to say that Annelida is derived from a Latin word. Okay, so annulus, that means a small ring-like structure. Okay, you can see here ring-like structure. And another feature that which we have to learn about the phylum Annelida is that they will be having longitudinal as well as circular muscles. What is the function of this longitudinal and circular muscles? It is possible to move from one place to another place. That means locomotion is possible. So you might have seen, you might have observed the earthworm. How does it move? It will be moving with the longitudinal as well as the circular muscles. So a small backward as well as a forward movement is there in the case of earthworm. If you just closely observe, you can see that with the help of longitudinal and with the help of circular muscles they move. Then one example we can learn in the phylum Annelida is of Nereis. So Nereis will be moving with the help of parapodia. This kind of structure will be there in the outside of the body. So this is parapodia. So with the help of parapodia, the locomotion is possible in Nereis. With the help of parapodia, then locomotion is possible in Nereis. Then another important feature is that they will be having nephridia. In the case of porifera, we have learned that they are having protonephridia, isn't it? So in the case of platyhelminthes, we have learned protonephridia. So here they will be having, this phylum will be having nephridia. So what is the function of this nephridia? Osmoregulation as well as excretion is possible with the nephridia. So osmoregulation and excretion is possible with the help of nephridia. Then this Nereis will be having a paired ganglia and they will have double ventral nerve cord. They will be having double ventral nerve cord and they are exhibiting two types of forms, dioecious as well as monoecious form. So dioecious means if the male and female organ are distinct. Okay, that means separate. In the case of Nereis, male and female individual are distinct. And in the case of earthworm and leeches, we can say that the male and individual are in the same organism. So we can say the term, we can use it as a monoecious. And mainly the reproduction is by sexual means. Sexual means of reproduction. Main examples you can remember here in phylum Annelida is Nereis as well as earthworm. Nereis, earthworm and hirudinaria. Okay, hirudinaria is otherwise called as leech. Okay, hirudinaria is otherwise termed as leech. Body is bilaterally symmetrical. That means body can be equally divided into two equal halves. Hope this phylum is clear to you all. So nothing much to learn about the organ system level of organization. Bilateral symmetry, that means body is divided into two equal halves. Then triploblastic, 3 layers are being found. Then segmentation, metamerism is found, a phenomenon of segmentation. That means all over the body we can find the segmentation. Then the coelomate, that means body cavity is being present. Then we have learnt about nephridia, a special type of excretory pore, or we can say for the osmoregulation, to regulate their body temperature and all, they are having nephridia. Okay, in the case of platyhelminthes, we have learnt protonephridia. If you remember, you can recall that. Then we have learnt they will be having a double ventral nerve cord, they will be having a paired ganglia. They are exhibiting two forms of life forms, dioecious as well as monoecious. Dioecious means if the male individual and the female individual are distinct, that means separate in different organisms. And monoecious means the term monoecious is used if the male and the female reproductive organ are the same individual. In the case of earthworm as well as leeches. Okay, so these three examples you can remember. I hope this phylum is clear to you all. So the next phylum that which we are going to learn is that regarding phylum Arthropoda. So that Arthropoda phylum is the largest phylum in kingdom Animalia. The largest phylum, always it is asked as a 1-mark question. Okay, the largest phylum in kingdom Animalia, that is Arthropoda. What does it mean? Arthro means jointed. Poda means legs. Arthropoda, jointed legs. So that is the word meaning of this phylum. Arthropoda. Arthro means jointed. Then poda means legs. So arthropoda means They will be having jointed legs. So all the insects comes under this category. Our favorite cockroach, locust, the scorpion, the centipede, the prawn, all these organisms, all these species comes under the phylum Arthropoda. So it's easy to remember, jointed legs. You might have seen cockroach. Have you observed the cockroach? How does it move? Its legs, have you observed? They will be having a jointed appendages. Okay, the prawn. If you have eaten the prawn, if you have cut the prawn, you might have seen that they will be having jointed appendages. Then the main features of kingdom Arthropoda. Organ system level of organization. That means they will be having organ system. The organ system is completely formed. Then we can say they are bilaterally symmetry. Okay, they are bilaterally symmetry. Then the next point, triploblastic. That means 3 layers are being formed. Then segmented bodies, segmented. You can see segments over their body. Centipede. If you have seen, if you would have observed centipede, you can see the segments all over the body. Or the scorpion, they also have segments over the body. And coelomate, they are having body cavity so that the organs can fit inside it. And another important features that which we have to learn is that the main and very important thing is that regarding arthropoda is that they are having chitinous exoskeleton. They are having chitinous exoskeleton. And body is divided into mainly 3 regions: head part, thorax and abdomen. They are divided into 3 regions: head, thorax and abdomen. Body is being divided into 3 parts. Then the respiratory organs are gills, book lungs, tracheal system. So there are many types of varieties of respiratory system in the arthropoda. They are of gills, book lungs and tracheal system. And the another important thing is that they are having Malpighian tubules. Okay, Malpighian tubules. What is the main function of Malpighian tubules? They are used for the excretion, and they will be having open type of circulatory system. Circulatory system is of open type, and Malpighian tubules is for the excretory, as an excretory system. And they will be having antennae, and they have statocysts. Statocyst is the balancing organ of this particular organism. Okay, so they have a statocyst, that means balancing organ present in this particular organism. And mainly they are dioecious. Dioecious, I have explained the term. The male and female are separate, and fertilization usually it takes place internally. I have explained already what is internal fertilization. What is internal fertilization? That means the sperms and the eggs are introduced in sperm introducing in the female. Okay, that is what the internal fertilization. Then mostly oviparous. Okay, mostly it is oviparous. Then there are economically important pests or economically important species, insects. Let us learn about that. So in this phylum, as I have told you, there are some economically important pests. Okay, economically important pests. They are aphids. Okay, honeybee. We can call it as the scientific name of honeybee is aphids. Okay, then the silkworm, Bombyx mori is the scientific name of silkworm. Then they are vectors. They are gregarious pests. They are living fossils. Okay, so for the these vectors we have Anopheles as well as Culus as example. Gregarious pest we have locust as example. Locust, we know that during the cultivation of the rice, wheat and all, the locust will come and eat all the grains, and also they act as the pest. And the living fossil, there are living fossils, they are king crab. That means otherwise we can say it as Limulus. So hope the arthropoda, phylum Arthropoda is clear to you all. Once again, I will tell you the important features that which we have come across, so it will be easier for you to learn. So once again, just we will recall the important points that which we have learned in kingdom Arthropoda, phylum Arthropoda. So as I have told you, the first itself you have to write arthro means jointed, poda means leg. So Arthropoda means jointed legs. Then the first thing that which you have to remember is that the largest phylum of kingdom is phylum Arthropoda, the largest phylum. Okay, it is often asked as a 1 mark question even. So the largest phylum. And the features we have seen that they are triploblastic, they have organ system of level of organization, they are coelomate. Then we have seen that they are bilaterally symmetrical. Then the body part is being divided into three parts: head, thorax and abdomen. Then body is formed up of chitinous exoskeleton. The body is covered by an chitinous exoskeleton. Then we have learned circulatory system is of open type. They have varieties of respiratory organs. They are book lungs, gills. These are all tracheal system. This question is also being asked. Book lungs is found in which book lungs, the respiratory organ book lung is found in which phylum? Phylum Arthropoda, phylum Annelida, phylum Porifera, phylum Platyhelminthes. They will give 4 options. The correct option is Arthropoda. So gills as well as book lungs and tracheal system, the respiratory organs used by Arthropoda. Then open type of circulatory system, as I have told. Then the Malpighian tubules. I have told you the Malpighian tubules, they are the excretory organ. And we have learned they will be having statocyst, a particular organs present in this particular insect, that is statocyst. It's a balancing organ. And open type of fertilization, open type of circulatory system. Then the fertilization, regarding the fertilization I have told this internal and oviparous. What do you mean by oviparous and viviparous? Oviparous means egg laying. Okay, viviparous means giving birth to the young ones. So that is the difference between oviparous as well as viviparous. Then development may be sometimes may be direct, sometimes may be indirect. And we have learned some of the economically important pests. They are apis, silkworm, and as the vectors we have learned, for example, Anopheles and culex. The gregarious pest we have learned as locust, and the living fossil we have learned king crab or limulus. So we will see the images of these organisms. So you can remember these 4 pests. Okay, so here you can see here butterfly, the locust, the scorpion here, and the prawn. Okay, see here the body is being divided head region, and here the thorax and the abdomen region. Okay, so these 3 examples, if you learn, it's enough and more for the phylum Arthropoda. So the next phylum which we are going to learn is about regarding phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca. So what are the peculiar features of phylum Mollusca we will learn. So Mollusca means soft bodied animals. Okay, Mollusca. They will be having, the first important point you have to remember is that they will be having organ system level of organization. Organ system level of organization. That means organ system is completely formed. Then bilaterally symmetry. Body is being divided. Body can be divided into 2 equal halves to a single plane. Then we have the layers. Okay, the germ layers and embryonic layers. They are triploblastic. This phylum belongs to triploblastic. That means 3 germ layers are there: ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. Then the body cavity. Regarding the body cavity, we can say that they are coelomate. Okay, coelomate means they are having the body cavity. Then another feature, important feature, is that they are having the calcareous shell. So you can remember the best example in this phylum Mollusca is that of snail. You might have seen during the rainy season one animal moving with a hut or with a house over their backside. Okay, that is snail. Okay, so that is a calcareous shell. If some enemies come to attack that particular organism or the particular species, what they do, they withdraw their body inside that shell. Okay, so thus they escape from the predators. Thus they escape from their prey that way. So they will be withdrawing through that calcareous shell. So this phylum will be they are having the calcareous shell. And another important thing you have to remember here is that this is the second largest phylum. The first largest phylum we have seen, the largest phylum we have learned in phylum Arthropoda, and the second largest phylum is Mollusca. Okay, so calcareous shell, and body is unsegmented. Segmentation will not be found. And we can see the body is being divided into head region, muscular foot, and visceral hump. Okay, these 3. Okay, hump means, as I have told you just now, snail will be carrying a small house over their dorsal part of the body. So muscular foot, with the help of muscular foot, they will be moving from one place. Locomotion is possible. Then between this hump and the mantle there is a space, and that is termed as mantle cavity. The space between the hump as well as the mantle is termed as mantle cavity. And in And the antennae region, they will be having sensory tentacles. So with that, they sense. Okay, they sense whether the other organisms are coming, whether the enemies are coming, all those things they will be sensing, and also they will be moving. They will be moving with the help of these sensory tentacles. And they are having a special type of organ in this phylum, that is radula, that is called as rasping organ, or we can say that for feeding purpose this is being used. Radula is being used for feeding purpose. And this phylum, they are mostly dioecious, that means male and female distinct, separate. Then they are oviparous. I have just now in the phylum Arthropoda, I have explained you what is the meaning of oviparous and viviparous. Oviparous means the egg laying animals. Okay. And here the development will be indirect. In the Annelida, phylum Mollusca, the development will be indirect. What is the meaning of indirect development? What do you mean by indirect development? Indirect development means the embryos will be developing into a mature individual without a larval stage. That's what indirect development. Okay, the embryo will be developing into a mature individual without a larval stage. If it is direct, then they may be undergoing the process larval stage. Egg will be hatching into the larva, then it will be moving to the pupa stage, then to the larva adult stage. Okay. Here indirect development means the embryo will be directly developing into a mature individual. Then here three examples you can remember: phyla, octopus, as well as sepia. So you can see here the image of octopus. So I hope this phylum is clear to you all. Once again, just we will recall the important points that which we have learned in phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca, first of all, the first important thing that which you have to remember is that it is soft-bodied animals. Okay. And another feature, the first important feature that which we have learned is they will be exhibiting organ system level of organization. Then we have learned they are bilaterally symmetry. Then triploblastic. Then coelomate. They are coelomate, having the body cavity, having split. Then they will be having the calcareous shell. Okay, that is a peculiar feature of this mollusca. They will be having, as I have given you the example of snail, they will be having a small hut over their body. You might have seen the snails moving during the rainy season and all. Lots of snails you can find in your surroundings, and if you just watch, you can see the visceral hump, the muscular foot, with the help of muscular foot and with the sensory tentacles, how they move from one place to another place. Then we have learned that the body is unsegmented. So then the next thing, that body part is being divided into three distinct regions: head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. And the space between the hump and the mantle is termed as mantle cavity. The space between the hump and the mantle is termed as mantle cavity. Then they are having, as I have told you, in the sensory, the antennae portion, they will be having sensory tentacles. And they will be having radula. Another important feature of this is rasping organ. Okay, this phylum will be having, another important feature is that they will be having a rasping organ of feeding. Okay, for the feeding purpose, this radula is being used. Okay, respiratory and circulatory function is being present. Everything is there. Expiratory function is being present. Respiratory function is also present. And they are mainly dioecious. Both male and female individual are distinct. Then oviparous. As I have told you, embryo will be developing, they will be laying eggs. And indirect and direct development. What is the difference between direct and indirect development? We have learned. Indirect means embryo will be developing without the larval stage. It will be developing into a mature individual. We can remember three examples: phyla, sepia, and octopus. You can see here the image of octopus. So moving towards the next phylum, that is phylum Echinodermata. So phylum Echinodermata. So the phylum Echinodermata, the word meaning is spiny bodies. So the body will be having spines. The organisms will be having spines all over their body. So the best example that which we can remember here is that sea urchin as well as starfish. Over their body they will be having spiny skin. Okay, and this body of the endoskeleton is made up of calcareous ossicles. You can see the corals and all, no? So it is made up of calcium carbonate. Okay, so calcareous ossicles, and mostly they are exclusively marine. In this phylum, the organisms belong, if they are exclusively marine. Coming to the organ system of level of organization, they are having the complete organ is being formed. They have a complete digestive system. They are radially symmetrical. So, in the case of other platyhelminthes, Annelida and all, we have learned bilaterally symmetry. So, how do we remember this? They are exhibiting both the forms. So, bilaterally symmetry as well as radially symmetry. So, radially symmetrical will be, bilaterally symmetrical will be exhibiting by the larval form, and radial will be exhibiting by adult. So, you can remember easily. How can you remember radial? There is one D, and in adult also one D. So, you can remember with that radial is equal to adult. So, you will never forget bilateral. L for bilateral, then for larval. Okay, bilateral stage they will be exhibiting, larval stage will be exhibiting the bilateral form. Both the forms, body forms are being exhibited by this particular organism. Then they are triploblastic. Okay, then they are coelomate. 3 layers are there. Coelomate body cavity is there from which the organisms are being built. Then they are having calcareous shell, as I have just now told you. Body is unsegmented. Okay, and here the special distinct feature of phylum Echinoderm is that they will be having water vascular system. The special distinct feature of phylum Echinoderms is that they will be having water vascular system. So, what is the function of this water vascular system? For their locomotion, for the capturing of the prey, for respiration, as well as for the transportation of food. So, the main function of this water vascular system is that locomotion, capture, then the transportation of food and respiration. These are the main function of this water vascular system. And development is indirect. I have just now explained what is indirect development. Then excretory organ is absent in this particular organism. So, the excretion is done through these water vascular systems through the same pore, where they are capturing the prey, transportation of food is taking place through that, respiration is taking place through. So, expiration is also most probably through this one only. Okay, otherwise dermal, they will be having dermal excretion, we can say dermal excretion. So, the best examples you can remember here is that starfish you can remember, sea urchin you can remember, sea lily you can remember. Then another example you can remember, brittle star or anthidium. So, any of these 4 examples if you remember, that is enough, well and enough. Okay, enough and more. Once again, just we will go through the important features that which we have learned in phylum Echinodermata. First of all, what we have learned, echinoderms means the spiny body. The body will be having spines all over the body. Then the next thing that which we have learned is that they are exclusively marine. In the case of Coelenterata also we have learned they are exclusively marine. In the case of Porifera we have learned they are exclusively marine. In the case of Ctenophora we have learned exclusively marine. And here echinoderms are also exclusively marine. First of all are having aquatic form as well as freshwater free swimming larvae and all. Okay. Then the next important feature that which we have learned was they are having the organ system level of organization. Then the body is radially symmetrical. Then triploblastic. Then coelomate. They are having calcareous shell over the body. Body is unsegmented. Segments are not being present. They exhibit both the forms I have told, bilateral as well as radial symmetry. Bilateral symmetry they will be exhibiting in the larval form, and radial symmetry in the adult form. Then they are having the special distinct feature of echinoderms we have to recall and remember is that water vascular system. It's very, very important. What is the function of water vascular system? They are used for locomotion, for the capture, respiration, and for the transportation of the food. These are the main function of this water vascular system. And development is indirect. Here the excretory organ is being absent. Okay, excretory organ is being absent. Then you can remember for its examples they are starfish, sea lily, sea urchin, brittle star or brittle star, anthidium you can remember. Okay, so these are the 4 examples that which we learn in the phylum Echinodermata. So the next phylum that which we are going to learn in the non-chordates is Hemichordata. The last phylum in the non-chordate is Hemichordata. So earlier these Hemichordates were considered as chordates. Earlier it was considered as chordate, but now it is replaced in non-chordata. Okay, it's a worm-like structure. These hemichordates are worm-like structure and especially marine. And what type of organ system level of organization they exhibit, let us see. So the organ system is completely formed, bilaterally symmetry, they are triploblastic, they are coelomate, the body is cylindrical. So it is composed of three regions, proboscis, collar and trunk. This is very important diagram you have to learn. This is a diagram of balanoglossus. Okay, this is a image diagram of balanoglossus. So it consists of proboscis, collar and trunk, three regions. Body consists of three regions. So body is of cylindrical form, you can see here. And here excretory organ acts as proboscis. The excretory organ is proboscis and respiration is through gills. Okay, fertilization will be external and development is indirect. We can remember two examples, balanoglossus as well as saccoglossus. So here one more thing, important point is that these hemichordates have a rudimentary structure in the collar region here. They will be having a rudimentary structure that is of not any of function at all. It like a hollow cavity it is. Okay, it is called as stomacore. And it will be in the collar region. Here, this is the collar region of hemichordate, this balanoglossus. So, in the collar region, there will be a stomacore, a structure similar to of notochord. Okay, so they will be having a structure similar to of stomacore. That is a rudimentary organ that is of no function. Okay, just for your knowledge, I am just telling. Okay, so once again, explaining regarding this phylum, the last phylum in non-chordata, phylum Hemichordata. Okay, phylum Hemichordata. So they will be exhibiting organ system of organization. They are bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic. They are coelomate, and they have the body is of cylindrical form, as you can see here in the image of cylindrical form. Body consists of proboscis, collar region, and the trunk portion. Okay, cylindrical. Then the excretory organ is of proboscis. So here excretion takes place. Proboscis is the excretory organ of Hemichordata. Then respiration is mainly through gills. Fertilization is external and development is indirect. We can remember two examples. They are balanoglossus as well as saccoglossus. As I have told you, this is the very important diagram. You have to learn it. So tomorrow we will be learning about chordates. So here we have completed our non-chordates. Just we will recall the points recall the phylums that which we have learned from the beginning in this animal kingdom. We have learned phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Ashkelminthes or Aschelminthes. Then we have learned Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca. Then we have learned about Echinodermata, and here we have learned Hemichordata. So hope all the characteristic features of this phylum and examples are clear to you all. Just go through your NCERT text, all the images of Arthropoda, the important examples that which you have to remember is given there. It's very easy to remember if you remember